Het-Heru, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Huru Nefer. This is Kasankma Keperu with another video for you. In this video, I want to talk to you about how you control time and space. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of when I go live or upload videos in the future. And if you are able to, please consider donating to our Patreon campaign, where you get exclusive videos on the esoteric, spirituality, divination. Great videos, great instructional classes. You will love them. So consider supporting us on Patreon. So I want to talk a little bit about this subject matter, about how you control time and space. But before I do that, I just want to let you guys know that I'm doing weekly hypnosis sessions, and we're doing those online. So if you're interested, please partake in them. You've got to put yourself on the mailing list, though. And the way you do that is you have to sign up for one of the free ebooks below. And when you sign up for one of those free ebooks, which are great books, you'll be put on the mailing list, and you'll get an invitation to when we start doing, or what day we'll be doing the hypnosis sessions. And the hypnosis sessions, they're very good. They're called New Ra Hypnosis. And we deal with different things that that you may be dealing with in your personal life. And what hypnosis does is it puts you in a very deep state of trance and kind of purges you or flushes out all of that negative stuff so that you can move on in life and really be successful. Hence my water success. And if you haven't got an opportunity, please order water. It's $24.95 for 5 bottles. And this is water that has been charged with a specific mantra to attract success. And it's really, really great water. You find the link below, watersofnoon.com. All right. Now, let's get into this, because I really don't want to make this too long of a video, but I want to kind of get this concept out there. And it's really for us to understand the world we're living in and what's going on. So one of the things that if you are keenly awake, your third eye is awake, and you're observing reality, so-called reality, and this so-called objective world correctly, you will start to see things that are strange and that are not normal. And the film The Matrix really pointed this fact out and brought it home. You have to understand that there are things that we call, and Carl Jung kind of coined this as synchronicity, how suddenly things start to happen coincidentally. You could be talking about something and it suddenly appears. Like, if you're talking about roses and somebody walks by with roses, that's called synchronicity. Others now are starting to talk about a phenomenon that's going on called the Mandela effect, how a certain segment of the population is remembering a different history than the other segment of the population. Some people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison. Other people remember him being free and being a free man and dying. So there seems to be the split in history. You know what I mean? Now, when you also watch movies, you'll notice that certain movies like Forrest Gump, the script or the lines have suddenly changed. How does that happen? Well, I'm here to tell you that the reality that you think is solid and that static is ever changing. It is dynamic. When you have a thought, and that thought is empowered with an emotion behind it, becomes a belief, it causes the energetic field to manifest a reality. Okay, you must understand that the entire world does not change as the movies portray it, or as you may see it. That's not what goes on. Pieces of reality come into play. All right. So that is one of the key things. It's like a puzzle, and you have all these pieces that have to be put together. Now, the minute you start thinking about something and you have a real strong belief in it, it kind of manifests itself. Now, when a group or people come together and they have the same ideology or the same belief system, that causes a certain reality to manifest. This is why we have all of these strange coincidences that occur. Now, if your third eye is open and you're awake to this fact, you'll start to see it, and you'll realize that reality is malleable. I mean, it can change. You can mold it. You can shape it to your wishes. Now, the Illuminati, the ruling elite, understand this, and they've understood this for thousands of years. This is how they took control of the planet. You see, they understood the levels of consciousness. And let me try to explain a little bit about that. There is what we call is the oversoul. Now, the oversoul governs or is there collecting the information from you and also other individuals. And what it's doing is it's doing this for source, for God, for Het-Heru. Because Het-Heru wants to have an experience in this fourth dimensional reality. And the oversoul collects this information and it gets stored in the 0-point energy field, or what we can call the Akashic records. It gets stored there because information is never destroyed or dissipated. It's stored. And then it's accessed later. And we can get into that later. But understand that that information of everything that you're going through is collected by the oversoul. Now, we have the oversoul. I'm not going to go too deep into that. But what we also have is the collective consciousness. And this is where we're all sharing the same consciousness, all right, as one. But you may think, which we're taught that we're all individuals, but we're really not. Individuality is an aspect of 3D, third dimension, all right? But the truth of who you are, you have to look at 5D. 5D is unity. And I explain a lot of this in my book, The New Capital Ankh, The Key to Manifesting Your Own Reality. So make sure you get that ebook. Now, we have the individual soul, we have the oversoul, okay? And then we have the collective consciousness. When a group of us come together, we form a consensus on reality, and that's called the MCA, the Mass Consensus Agreement. So we agree for certain rules and laws to be in place. This is how we have this experience. It is an agreement that our higher self makes, not this person you see before you, because the person who you are, we call that in Kemetic culture, Sahu, has all these fears, hang-ups, likes and dislikes. So you would never agree to put yourself through many challenges and pain and suffering to further spiritually grow. Who you are now would not agree to that, but your higher self would agree to that because it's very spiritual and exists in the fifth dimensional plane. All right, so this divisions of who you are can in some way be hacked. This is what the Illuminati realized. They said, hey, if we can tap into the frequency, let's say, of the consciousness of, let's say, white people, we can implant a virus or an idea or an herbivore or a pendulum which says you are superior to all other groups. So they implant that idea, which grows and grows and grows, more powerful, and you can call it a spirit as well, and it's implanted in that collective consciousness of that group. So what happens? Then that starts to manifest in the way they act, in the way they think, but it also produces a certain reality. Do you understand? A reality that we think is solid, a reality that we think is real. Because when people come together and they have that strong belief, and that belief is shared by all of them, this is what we call the Japanese mesquite monkey 100 monkey principle. That was they did a behavior study done in the 1950s, and they saw that these monkeys were exhibiting a certain type of behavior, and the behavior was transferred from one set of monkeys and to another set in an adjacent island, and those monkeys had no contact with each other, but both sets were having the same behavior. How could that be possible? That's because they share the same consciousness, and information is transferred to the collective consciousness. All right. Now, when that information is there, it is then you're downloading it. But also the thing you have to remember is what I said before, there's an opportunity to hack that and to implant a virus, pendulum, or an idea. This is why we have to understand that the ruling elite, if we want to combat them and free the planet and shift the vibration of this planet to 5D, let's say, you have to understand the enemy that you're dealing with has metaphysical powers, that they control time and space, that they can manipulate your thinking to give you thoughts. See, in the creative culture, we talk about how thoughts are transferable and you're not responsible for them unless you dwell on those thoughts, you take it in and you start to role play out different scenarios. In other words, if a thought comes to me like, boy, I wish I could just take that watch out of that store window. Now, that's not my thought. That was in the ether, in the air. But if I take it and I start dwelling on it and I start imagining me breaking into that store, then I own it and I'm responsible for it. But the mere fact that the thought came into my sphere of awareness and I just let it go, it's not my thought, it's not my responsibility. So you have to understand that, because thoughts are all out there and we're constantly downloading that information and picking up on those things, which is, again, going back to the 100 monkey principle. If you are not familiar with that, you should Google that. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you understand the nature of how we are made up on a metaphysical level, then the world opens up new opportunities for you to be successful. So what do I mean by that? If I know that I can create a pendulum or ergomore that will work on my behalf to bring me success, why not then take advantage of that opportunity? Because the ruling elite does. Now, also, what you need to understand is that the history of the planet and the history that you think you may have may not actually be true. And this is what we're coming to understand, is that it could be a fabricated implant. Because, again, they understand how to hack our psyche and to put different ideas. Because the only thing that exists is the now moment. The minute that you accept an idea, then it creates, first and foremost, a present now reality and a past memory, and it also creates a future for you. Do you understand? So with that understanding, this is how the ruling elite took control of the planet. They first and foremost fed us information about who we are and trapped us in left brain thinking so that we wouldn't start to explore right brain metaphysical principles, because they wanted to hoard that information, that knowledge, so they can control the planet. So we're caught up in 3D thinking, which is duality, left, right, good, bad. And we also think that the world that we see is objective, meaning it is a solid world that doesn't change, it is fixed, but it is ever changing. It changes. Your reality will shift according to your belief system and according to the collective belief system of a group of people. So with that understanding, you can take that on your own and say, I have the power to change my reality. I have the power that if I have gone through some traumatic experience in the past, to shift to a new experience, to a new world where I don't have to be in pain, where I don't have to be in suffering. When I perform the hypnosis, one of the things I do is I give those who are in trance a suggestion, and we talk about them getting a new history, a new past. So if in the past they've had really bad relationships that have traumatized them, what I do is we replace that memory of positive relationships, of things working out in the past, and that ultimately will change their future, and it will definitely change the present reality if they go deep enough into trance and if they accept that belief system to the core of their being. See, the truth is, right now, you're in hypnosis. You're in a trance state. This reality is one frequency among an infinite number of frequencies that you can experience. But your psyche has been hacked, and they have fed you information about this reality, and you're now manufacturing it and creating this reality for their benefit. And one of the things that they're feeding you and creating, that you're creating a reality for them, is that they are trapping you in this primitive state of medieval times. We are living in medieval times. It is the dark ages, because if you look at our history, our real history, in terms of ancient Kemet, Atlantis, all the civilizations, they were advanced civilizations. So by right, at this present moment in time, we should be exploring the universe, colonizing the planets, have transporter systems, all of that. But we don't. We trapped here. The progress has been withheld. While they, the ruling elite, have high technology. They have the ability to cure cancer, cure AIDS. They have all of this, but they don't want you to know they have it. Go see a film, the documentary film that won an Academy Award called The Panama Deception. And one of the things they did was they interviewed the people when the United States went in there and tried to overthrow the government. And they did it by military might. So they interviewed the common people there. And one of the interesting things that people said that they saw was that the military had lasers and they were shooting lasers at them. Now, this tells you very clearly that our government has black ops projects, that we have technology, or they have technology that they have not revealed to us. But this documentary kind of gave you a glimpse into that what they have. And there's certain military officials, military generals that tell us, oh, we have ships that can take us to different solar systems. Yeah, we have those ships. We can go to a different galaxy. But they don't want you to realize that and know that. They've already made contact with extraterrestrial life forms, but they're not going to tell you that. Because they have to keep you in this primitive, barbaric, and savage reality. So what I'm saying is I'm trying to present the knowledge and the technique that they have used to imprison the planet. I'm trying to present that technique and knowledge to you so that you can free the planet using those very same methods. And it starts out by nothing complicated. Changing your belief system, saying to yourself, here is the world I want. This is what I want. Having a strong emotional feel behind it. And then going dark, or meaning ignoring the negative things that you may be worried about or have doubts. Don't let them come into your sphere of awareness. Go dark on those things and only visualize the positive things with strong emotional intent. What you're going to see first and foremost is what we call the synchronicity effect. You're going to see things start to align to what you were thinking about, and it's going to be peculiar. And most people dismiss it, which is why it doesn't really come to full fruition. But if you don't dismiss it and you use that as a sign and you build on your faith, and you keep going, what you're going to do is you're going to see reality start to shift and change in accordance with your wishes. But it's not going to happen if you just sit back and let things go their natural way, because you're constantly being fed frequencies by the ruling elite that basically what they're telling you is, and you're not aware of it because it's at a certain high frequency that's coming into your psyche, and it's saying, manifest this car, manifest poverty, manifest war. And because you are God, man, God, woman, and you're a reality generating machine, you're creating this. Now, as an individual, you don't have enough power to do it alone. But when it comes to the MCA, the mass collective agreement, they know that they get enough people together to agree upon that reality. The Bible says when two or more agree, so shall it be. When they get a certain amount of people to agree on that reality, it then comes into form. And you're doing it involuntarily. You don't realize that you're creating the world that they want, but not the world that you want. You have to totally shut yourself off from this reality. You have to denounce this reality and say that I don't believe in you. You're a Maya. You're an illusion. You're not my creation. You are my creation, but you're not what I want. And then start to shift your thinking, your belief system, and every day imagine the world you want. throughout your day, think about what you want and feel the awesomeness of it. And keep that for as long as it takes it to manifest in this world. Don't give up. You will see it. I promise you. I promise you, you will see the synchronicity start to take effect and things start to align. And that's an indication you're on the right path. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take some time. I'm not going to lie to you, because you're an individual. It's going to take some time unless you're able to get together with people of like mind who will meditate or who will do a hypnosis session or trance session on your behalf. Could you imagine that? You having a collective group of friends saying, we're going to sit down and we're going to meditate and visualize you being a millionaire. You know how powerful that is? That's the 100 monkey principle or the 100 monkey syndrome. That is going to manifest. But in lieu of that, because you don't have those friends in your immediate circle who will sit down and do that for you, you're going to have to do it yourself, which means that when the collective friends, if they were to do it for you, it would manifest really quick. But because you don't have them, it's going to take time for you to do it. But it will happen. Now, don't make the mistake of suddenly taking a quantum leap, meaning that you leap from where you are now to say, I want to be a billionaire. That's a big leap to a different reality. And you're not powerful enough to make that leap. So let's take it in stages. Let's take it in stages. The reason why a lot of people, when they use vision boards or when they use visualization and it doesn't manifest, it doesn't work for them, because they jump the process. So in other words, not only are you visualizing the goal, but you need to visualize the process to getting the goal and feel good about that. Remember, the goddess Het-Heru, Hathor, says, joy is in the journey and not the destination. So you have to visualize and feel joyful of the process of you being successful. So if I wanted $1 million, of course I have to have a vehicle to get there. So if I have a business and I say, well, I want to be a millionaire, I want my business to make me a millionaire. So I visualize every day me getting up and working my business and being super happy and super positive. And then also visualize me in my extravagant house. But you see, those people who practice the secret only visualize themselves in the house. They don't visualize the process of getting there, which is why it doesn't work for them. Because don't forget, you are living in the fourth dimension, 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. So you are subject to linear time space, meaning it has to take time to get what you want. But rest assured, it comes because you are a magi. You are a God man, God woman. Going back to what I was saying before about the cabal, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, because we don't know what they call themselves. So we'll just use these labels and terms for them. To keep you trapped and imprisoned on the planet, and to keep you from studying the metaphysical, they had to hack your psyche. And they had to kill off the people who created this advanced science, meaning the Native Americans, the shaman, the Sha women, the African men, the African priests and priestesses. They had to kill them off first. And that's exactly what they did. Watch George Lucas's Star Wars, the Star Wars trilogy, because George Lucas is a Illuminati insider. And through Star Wars, he was trying to reveal to you what happened. And he was trying to say that one of the first things that the Empire did was kill off all the Jedis. That's how they were able to take power. And in the Illuminati, one of the first things they did was kill off all the magicians, because that stood in their way of taking over the planet. The power that they have now is to implant in you a different history and to have you create They are reality. So you have to realize two things, that your memories of the history that you think that you had may not be correct, because it's ever changing. You see, when you change this moment in time on a collective level, it's going to change your past, because you're going to shift to a new reality that not only encompasses a different now moment, but a different past and a new future you'll be headed toward. And you have to take that in consideration. But you will never, ever remember the old history. You won't remember the old history. But hey, let me take that back, because now is an important time in history, because people are now remembering the old history, called the Mandela effect. People are now standing up and saying, wait, that's not how I remember it. I remember it differently, and I know I'm not mistaken. We now know what's going on. As the colloquial expression goes, the jig is up. We know what they're doing. We know what the ruling elite is doing. Now, some contribute this to CERN, CERN, where they've been doing these experiments trying to duplicate a black hole, but they're really opening up another dimension, and this is why we're having the Mandela effect. I don't think that's it. I think because that would assume that they're only now coming into this power. No, the Illuminati has always had this power, and this is how they've been able to entrap the planet in left brain thinking. So I want you to think about this and think about the power you have and what you can do using the same techniques that they've used to entrap us in this reality. And I also want to paint a realistic picture, because some of these guys, they get on there, these spiritual gurus, and they're always talking about you can shift and things will be so great. And this is how you become one with source. And this, listen, this takes work. This is not something that comes overnight. And I wish it did. And I wish there was a pill for it that could fix it, but there is not. It's going to take hard work. When I work with people and I put them into a state of hypnosis, and I give them suggestions, and they come out of hypnosis feeling awesome, feeling great. Most everyone does. And they're like, wow, thank you. And I look and I say, it's not over yet. That thing has to stick. So you need to continue the work. Because if you don't continue, then it's going to revert back to the default mechanism, meaning that your spiritual work, you have to be very vigilant about it, because the social engineering is out there, and it's not going to stop. It's going to keep assaulting you. The attacks psychically are going to keep coming. So you have to be on guard. You have to be awake. Which is why every day I meditate. Every day I say my affirmations. Every day I recite my mantras. Because I know what they're doing. And I also know the world I want to be in and the world I want to shift to. But I'm here for a reason, though. See, I'm here in this space-time continuum to help other people. So I'm not going anywhere, but that's all right. So I'm going to be of service to people. I made that agreement before I came here. Let me say hi to the Magi's. Jay Smith, Het-Heru, Balance and Harmony, Namaste, Goddess Ma'at, Hetep, Michael Scott, Haru Nefer, Sekhmet, Namaste, L Glass, Het-Heru, and M. Masha. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Het-Heru for you. So I want you to do your work every day to bring about the reality that you want, and to be joyful about the work. Don't see it as difficult, as a challenge. Redefine that. Watch your labels and terms, because the definitions and the labels that you use command your spirit to bring a certain reality in the manifestation. This is why they created this brilliant science called NLP, neuro linguistic programming, because it deals with a language that commands your subconscious mind to act out and do certain things for you. And in the ancient cultures, the language that we use was based on frequency, which manifested the correct reality that we wanted. But now the language betrays who we are because we call ourselves human. We say we're limited. We talk about how we're individuals. We don't understand the true nature of who we are and the power that we have when we come together as a collective. So we have to think about that. Your spiritual work and getting to where you need to go is not going to be solely up to you. The Ma'at principle of interdependence and interrelationship, that's what Ma'at talks about. It's not just balance and harmony, it's interdependent, it's an interrelationship between all things. All things are connected, all things are one, meaning you're going to have to start working with other people. Working with other people to manifest your reality. Now, you don't have to talk anyone into doing anything. When you align your belief system to the correct thinking, those individuals in your reality, which you call your avatars, will also start to change their belief system. And if they don't change, that's a clear indication that those are individuals you need to move away from. But trust and believe that when you start to change your thinking, then they will start to change. Anyone can attest to this. You've been in a relationship and suddenly your mate starts to think like you, starts to finish your sentences. Why is that? Because there's a psychic communication going on. This is how you change the planet. You don't change the planet through military might. You don't change the planet through political work. You don't change the planet through economic systems. You change the planet with each individual understanding their power, and then the masters of people coming together as a collective to understand that they have been creating this reality all along. And they have been duped into creating a reality that the cabal has wanted. I am not an individual. I am not a human being. I am consciousness. I have been and I always will be. Start thinking like that. Don't place limitations around yourself. We do it all the time. Example of limitation. You want to buy a nice house and you're thinking, I don't have the money. I don't know if I get a bank loan. Well, have you ever just focused on getting the house and letting the universe bring it to you, maybe gifting it to you? Why do you have to have that left brain Cartesian logic where it's always a one-to-one relationship, a one-to-one correspondence, meaning you think, oh, to get house, need money, go to bank, get loan, get house. No, no, no. You're unlimited being with infinite power and potential. You can meet someone, become friends, they pass away, and they leave in their will their mansion to you. You see, these are possibilities as long as you keep an open mind. But if you limit how things come to you in that very structured, limited way that we are taught, then it becomes harder and more difficult for it to manifest in your reality because you think it has to manifest in a certain way. Don't think in terms of those details. Let the universe work those details out. All right, let the universe work those details out. You want a car, a Lexus, a Lamborghini, whatever. Don't think about how to finance it, how you get the financing, your credit, and all that. Don't think about that. Whenever I have an obstacle come my way, in my mind, I think, oh, I'll deal with that on a magical level. And the way I deal with that on a magical level is to adapt the belief system that that thing won't stand in the way of me getting what I want. The fact that that car costs $500,000 is not going to stand in my way of getting it, even though I only make what, 14,000 a year. Just saying. Have big aspirations and understand that this will come. The things will come your way through your magical powers. Someone is annoying you, and you may not get along with them. Just sit back and meditate and see yourself working harmoniously with them and watch they change. Sit back and see yourself driving that car across country. Maybe it's a convertible. Visualize the wind blowing in your hair. Be detailed about the visualization. And hold on to it for as long as it takes for it to manifest in your life. And if you want it, if it is a passion that you have, if it is, as Bishar says, your highest excitement, it will come to you in time. Now, some of us are very powerful magis, meaning that we're I'm very right-brained, and we can manifest things pretty quickly, and that's a gift. We're naturally born that way, which is why we have to watch our thoughts, because we can manifest the bad as well as the good. So you definitely need spiritual culture in those situations. I realized very early on in life that it wasn't money that I wanted. It was power, magical power, because I knew with magical power, I can get everything else. Things will start to line up for you, and you won't have to, stress out about it. Just do your work, have faith that things will manifest in time and space. Remember, in the beginning, there was only you, only the one. You brought yourself into being. You were alone. And from the one came the two, because you needed something to interact with to have an experience. So you created everything. So if you created all of this, why can't you bring the little things that you want in your life? A mate, a house, a car, money. Why can't you bring those things? You can. You created the stars, the planets, the suns. Everything you see, you created. You forgot, you lost your memory, but you did create these things. That is you, no one else. Because God placed its consciousness within your vehicle to exist on this fourth dimensional plane, to have an experience. You are a walking, talking God, and you don't even know it. You don't even realize it, because you have been duped by these jackasses in power to believe you're human. You're a sinful creature. You make mistakes. No, you son of a bitch, I'm God. I created the heavens and the earth. I am not black. I am not white. I am not male. I am not female. I am consciousness. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And to remember who you truly are. This is Kasak Ma Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Het-Heru. Till my next broadcast, Amen Ra.